Hello, I'm Kim. This reading is for April 16th and for a week. That's all you get, right? So it's also sort of a weird sort of little timeless reading as well. I feel like it could come at any time. It's sort of like how you glow up and sort of change. I've already pulled the cards. So it's the Darkwood Tarot. So I don't have clarifiers this time. Usually I use like two decks or something. But this is such a long sort of thing that like they have a lot of description, and I'm not even going to get to all of it. Otherwise, it's like read the book because it basically tells a story. And it is sort of like a dark night of the soul story. So that is what you're going to feel, and you're going to go, oh my gosh. And it's not all negative. We have a lot of inverses, but that's also not necessarily negative. And they call these shadows in this. So I kind of like that term a lot, and I use it. Um, and there is a progression. So to start, I suppose, we have the star, and it is inverted. So first you can see she's like gazing at a star. So she looks naked, right? Yes, right. And upside down, she looks even more vulnerable. And there is something about like that triangular shape that is just like, I don't know exactly what it means, like, right? But like something like within me sort of resonates with that sort of idea of sort of like reaching with your toes almost, like any way you can to try to get above either your situation or into like the literal heavens, like just be enough, right? Like that's one of my difficulties is I don't say I am enough, like the people are, like they're always like, uh, they don't, you're not supposed to say that the other people are wrong. You're supposed to take in and say, oh, I'll change. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you have to sort of be like, well, I will give you this and say, yes, okay, all right, and then the reverse. So don't always take it in. You can reach for your toes to like the stars. Don't change yourself. Okay. So like the shadow, okay, is mania, deception, and mental illness, crossing the line into madness, unable to find the line between sanity and insanity, blurred vision, entrapment, obscuring the truth, blaming outer circumstances for inner turmoil, excuse me. And that's an awfully negative description, right? That's why it's called the dark wood, right? Right. And it's not like it's like supposed to be like in your face, or maybe it is, but like us, like the actual tarot, I don't think it's always like a slap in the face. I think sometimes it's like, hey, now, are we too in our heads? I have a hard time this last 2 weeks. Been in like this power struggle fight with like best friend situationship, whatever, and it goes back and forth, and I'm just confused. Am I crazy? And there's no, I am doubtful. Are we allowed to doubt? Yes. Yes, we're allowed to doubt. But like, did I question that difference between insanity and sanity? Yes. I hurt. Am I supposed to hurt? Do normal people hurt? I mean, like, these are the things that sometimes we're not told is that, yes, negative emotions do hurt. I was always told to medicate. And like, it's very difficult for me not to like go, oh, I should have a pill, or hey, doctor, so I'm going through an episode. So even though like this says, whatever, I mean, like, listen to your doctors, please, 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 or yourself, like higher self. All right, yes, but also, you know, look at like the evidence of everyone else around, not just one person telling you and reporting. It's been my mistake in the past. So this is how we start our progression, okay? This isn't necessarily the beginning of the week. I feel like this is a lifetime journey. It's a lifetime journey of Kim, certainly. Okay, we're doubtful. Let's not doubt. And it really does go through this book, really. I'm not kidding you. All right, the next is the Page of Cups, reversed or inverted. Okay. Like I said, you can put these to days of the week, of course, but I'm really feeling like this is like life skills that we're always going to have to work on. And like this is it's actually called the intuitive, and so she's meant to be a knower, and she's also supposed to be a feeler at the same time. And so like the shadow is emotional tantrums, runaway imagination, hallucination, delusions of grandeur, wild ideas unchecked, inability to stay grounded in reality, solitary and silent, eating at oneself from the inside. Okay, now that's a shadow, right? And yes, of course, okay, perhaps. But like if you go from here to here, it's still a step up, okay? You're aware that there's a situation, right? It's no longer a question of insanity, or upsetness, right? You realize that you're upset, you're angry, you're hurt, or happy, and you realize it, and it's like it's okay, it's good. I have a hard time with excitement. I don't know what excitement's like. It's either anxiety or I don't know what like good excitement is. I can't define it. I have never been taught, or I have never been, something inside of me so learning that, oh, this is a good feeling. You don't have to think that it's a bad feeling. So delusions of grandeur. My honestly opinion is, so what? Okay, you can have delusions of grandeur. I'm a writer. I'm gonna get the Nobel Prize. Everyone is like, no, I got three major nominations this year, and I am just 40. Okay, so I'm gonna have like six books. Like don't listen to the naysayers that say that you have grandeur. Okay, like if you're like internally saying, oh no, I just can't mentally, physically handle that right now, that's different. But if you're going, this is my dream, you know, don't squash it just because, somebody says, you're never going to get it. And that can be your internal as well. As a writer with the Writer Studio, I was told it was called the shipbird. Okay. So this could be, the little like squeak that says you can't do it. Okay. So don't listen to that squeaky voice, or that the voice that is of somebody that told you weren't good enough, either to love or good enough to be their child, or and like we have those voices, and they change as our, like I've been having flashbacks, right? Okay. If you follow my Facebook, you'll see and hear every so often, be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I remembered this. Um, and at that time, it's somebody's tone of voice. It's true. Somebody told me that that's how they had theirs, and I was like, yeah, that's it. And then it just comes rushing, and I realize that's why I'm like this. And it's a very, very scary, sort of panic-inducing thing. But I'm not going to call it bad or negative in terms of that. Like, it is causing me to heal my trauma instead of, having it repressed so deeply and not realizing it. Like I had no idea that, even like being shamed at a dinner table, like, why did you say that? I didn't know that it really would affect me. Apparently it did. I listened to a child, and I'm like, so don't listen to that the voice, and go, it's fine if I get, some soup on my shirt, or I get like, some sauce on my face. It's okay. Silly stuff, but it really is like deeply personal, and it can really like bring ourselves down, and having that uprooted is difficult. But like I said, all right, now we have an upright Nine of Swords, self-critique. I'm telling you, it really is like this whole little narrative that we're going through, I'm not reading the first page that they say. They explain the cards very much so like a story. And it does take like 900 years, and I've done it before. And I apologize to every listener that have, that has had to deal with it. Okay. But like, like she's this beautiful red dress, and she has all the swords, and like, does she know how to use them, Okay. So it is upright, that makes the Darkwood Tarot that much more happy, right? A slave to mental agony, obsessive compulsive thinking, wakefulness and distress, anxiety over self worth, guilt and shame over who you are, feeling like a stranger, worry and stress. And I'm pretty sure that's just what I just was talking about in my examples, which is kind of, I don't want to say crazy, but it's kind of weird. Um, so the slave to mental agony, it doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh, all this all the time. Like, I'm not saying that all of us are going to be in this fog of depression, and it doesn't have to be that. It could just be a niggling sort of thing every so often that like sort of drains our self-confidence in the moment. It doesn't have to be forever. It doesn't have to be. I read like a comment, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this comment, oh my gosh. And like it sometimes it really bothers me. And like the person is like, all I said was like, I liked it. And I was like, well, you didn't say I loved it. What does that mean? Right? Right. So it doesn't mean that I have to completely rework the piece. I don't have to completely have a meltdown within my little brain. Does not mean I don't, but I do not have to, right? And like people say that you can choose these things, and I say that you can choose to come out of them. Like, yes, I might get into that state, okay? And I can choose to get out of them and to work on different things that'll help me get out of that state. But that doesn't necessarily mean I don't personally see myself going into it, okay? And this could just be a course of like a minute, quick mood swing, right? Oh, they said this. Oh, I mean, like sometimes you just have to catch yourself and go, no, no, no. Is it easy? Absolutely not. And do I do it all the time? Absolutely not. The last 2 weeks have been a nightmare. Just because of my workload and because of confusion, which I think is a worse word than anxiety and guilt. I think it's confusion, not knowing if you did wrong or not knowing why a person was upset with you. Like really why. Not like what they say, but what like came with it and what needs to be unpacked, so that you both can move forward together. Like it's that thing like I was told like my friendship was in danger and that we were going to be shattered. And like 2 weeks before, I'd been saying that like I was the balm pretty much, like going to see, hear me and talk to me like I was the beach away from his like life, right? And I was just like, how did we get so far in 2 weeks? And so like that's something that we were working out. But originally, I was not able to go anywhere. I was just what? And that is something that is will happen. No matter the circumstances. Sometimes we can't like stop, like when that tower moment happens, right? Now the tower did not like come up in here, but it was just sort of like, I mean, I can sort of feel it like sort of in this time of year, right before Beltane is this tower right after, Easter or Stara or whatever, Happy Spring. I always have this moment before like summer when it's like full blossom, Persephone comes out, where it's like, bam! And that's okay because you have that wham moment, and then the rest of the year just goes, I don't want to say perfectly because it won't, but like it just slams back. And it's like, yes, and I'm going to come out better and I'm going to do better. And like suddenly I'm like doing like 9 million things in a healthy way. And I'm like, yeah, see, I did it. I'm brilliant by the time, the solstice arrived. But it takes that moment of like somebody like almost flipping the switch or, just flipping this, like, Tim, you need a shakeup, and I do feel like there are real liminal times, which is, in my beliefs, like May Day, Beltane, like that, and Samhain, Halloween, All Souls Eve, All Hallows Eve, like those times, depending on beliefs. Okay. I feel are liminal. So those are the times where you have your tower moments and you're like your moments of I have to overcome. And sometimes just like saying I have to overcome, suddenly you're doing stuff that you never would before. You're adventuring, you're going out, you're enjoying like the summer, or if you're on the the southern hemisphere right now when I'm recording this, then you're going into the fall, into the winter. And but still, like it's like these liminal spaces. Yes, I do feel like I have at least two tower, moments a year. I do usually 4 books a year. So those are my moments of like reflection of like, where do I go? Where am I going? Where have I come? And once I sort of like journal that around a little bit, and it might take a week, might take 2 weeks, then 2 weeks. And I'm like, it's okay. Dude called up because I had been ignoring him. And I wasn't meaning to ignore him. I was just doing what he asked me to, right? So things heal too in a few weeks. So I don't want any of that dismalness to like affect you this week. Like, oh my gosh, this is such a dismal reading. It's not. Okay. This is like a different type of catharsis and healing. Like there's happy, like joyous light healing. And then there's like, I don't even like calling it shadow work anymore. But like it's like going internally and going, hey, I have this hang up. Why do I have this hang up? Is it really a hang up? Like I have, oh, this is like way, way, way personal. So like the entire internet is now going to know that I am extremely like embarrassed about body issues. You know that. But like going into the bathroom, okay? And like, oh my gosh, you might have to pee if you go to the bathroom, right? And like that is embarrassing to me. The last week, after this like little tantrum that the two of us had, we went out into nature. We peed in nature, not together, okay, but like separately and like without the other looking. But still, there was something like almost like in a weird cathartic way that went, it's okay. He's just as upset as I am. I don't have to be embarrassed. He's embarrassed, but he doesn't have to be embarrassed because I don't feel embarrassed that he has a problem. We thought this was going to take 10 minutes, not 3 miles. So sometimes we don't realize what other people think. Now, is that going to change all my issues? No. Do I know that I can still pee in the woods? Yes. Okay. But, but it was not a big deal. And I have built it up and built it up. And oh my gosh. No. So that leaves us after that very personal revelation, which I mean, like, please, somebody else timestamp that one. I'm not. We have the Queen of Swords. All right. She's the articulator. Okay. So she's considered witty and she knows the pen is mightier than the sword. That's what it says there. I had to read that one. Sorry. Although I don't know if I always agree. I mean, I'm gonna have to like think about that. As a writer, I agree, but like as an actual like physical, I'm like, um, she's an articulate, mature female who expresses thoughts and ideas without reservation. Quick-witted, pointed, and searing, gift of language and expression, a fabulous conversationalist with the ability to speak to anyone, anywhere in the situation. All right, and like that really technically was our final card, but I do have one more. And like, so I feel like this is probably us at the end and probably us becoming this, okay? This articulator. You can you can always read stuff negatively in terms of, oh, she can articulate. And this, by the way, does not have to be she, he, they. I mean, like it is all genders. Everyone says this energies, and I'm kind of, I don't know. I don't know about energies either. I'm sort of like archetypes. This is like what this person embodies. Okay. So keep that in mind. And this is your final card. The other one was the Five of Pentacles. Okay. It was upright. And I don't agree with this exactly, which is why I saved it to last. Because I don't think that pentacles necessarily are greedy, although it's sort of saying that. The Five of Pentacles suggests a breakthrough or release of a blockage that once held a relationship back. Awesome. It is with the working of this problem, it is sticking around when the times get tough, not just when they are easy and fun. And the transformative moment of the relationship that shows the two people that they are made of together. It says it wrong, but okay. Well, you know what? I read it. What did I read? I read the Five of Pentacles, excuse me. None of that, like when I was prepping. So, this came out not the way that it didn't come out the way that I drew it, but it came out the way the story goes. So we become this, right? We become this Queen of Swords, able to articulate, and believe me, Kim can write a hot letter. I actually like read this letter. This is like my life here, guys. All right. So, and then happy reunion or happier reunion, right? So that's okay. Like I don't want anyone to think that this is negative. This is a journey. And if we're going on it this week, that's great. Kim went on it the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh, not again. But it sort of is a confirmation for us, right? Like there is a sort of like after all this confusion and fear, and I don't believe like again madness in the same way, since other people would consider me truly mad. or you know, crazy or bipolar or whatever moniker you want to describe to me as mentally ill, or at least, you know, needing medication to be mentally well. Okay, so there you can interpret that anyway. It can be from social anguish, you know, like there's so many different ways, but this shows us the path, how to sort of get around it. Pretty much it says journal, bitch, you know, pretty much, right? Journal, get over it, and keep going with your life and, you know, heal. And like, to say that is amazing, because like just looking at like this is just like it is, you know, become articulate. You know, when people say don't talk, talk. That's all it is. So that, my friends, that I wish you a joyous day. If you ever need to talk, if you ever need help, whatever you would like to call it, PM me, email me. My email is everywhere. So just go email me. You don't have to say anything. Just like, hey, I need to help. You know, I need to talk. I need to talk. You can do whatever you need to do. I'm here. Others are here. And I want you to know that no matter what you're going through, and I mean like no matter what you're going through, someone has gone through it before, or they are able to help you as you go through it. I mean, like no experience is the same, okay? But there are people that have had at least similar experiences or can empathize with their experiences. Sometimes even better, because you don't hear them say about their experience, right? So I tell people my experience, and it doesn't always help because it's not their experience. So being empathize without that experience also helps. Okay. Counselors, therapists, of course. Okay. But like, I know like the real world, okay, of therapy, where I get a half hour and like I'm on disability for, you know, mental health, and like I get a half hour and I am lucky. Okay. So just be kind to yourself. Don't yell at yourself this week. Um, And that is what I have to say. Okay. So with this like reading, of course, take it with a grain of salt. But also, more than that, if you are having like difficulties that feel unbearable, unavoidable, or that you need a friend, message me. Okay. Love you guys.